Welcome to Heroic Round, an actual play TTRPG podcast. Join me and my three best friends as we journey through Dungeons, Dragons, and dubious decisions. Grab your dice. We're here to live heroic and die historic.
So it is, you broke your fast this morning on cold, hard-boiled eggs, heavily peppered, and some of that beautiful, dark, sweet loaf bread.
Made of acorns?
No, but the acorn spread was divine. Not crunchy, it's smooth, which is the better way to enjoy nut butters of all kinds. Fight me if you disagree. And you had some warm mold drink that tasted vaguely of plants.
Nice.
Gross.
So green drink, which Mac seemed to approve of. But you hear a rap upon your door, a smart rap upon your door, which interrupts your breakfast.
Looks like we're getting evicted.
This is so much about your character.
You hear a knock and think you're being evicted.
Oh, shit.
Immediately.
We're not here permanently, it's just temporarily. I go get the door.
Hey! You open the door and you can see dressed immaculately in his acorn plate mail, Sir Landon Thorn. Today he's sporting a black tunic over his plate with a red ring of thorns emblazoned on the chest. His mustache is greased and his hair is parted, just so. And he holds his helm under his arm.
You're looking quite
Good
dapper.
morning, masters. Beautiful day today. I've been commanded and appointed by Lord Thornhaven to conduct you safely to your next destination. And also, may I have a word with you?
Of course.
He kind of awkwardly, he's tall.
He's like
He's tall and
it's
broad.
like a 7-footer.
Yeah. He kind of bends and comes into the room where you are, your chambers, your guest chambers. And he sees each of you, including Virgil Tibbets,
He owns the paint.
who gives him a sour, disapproving look from over his hard-boiled egg.
He remembers.
He says, you see, he looks at his feet. I'd like to apologize, truly, for my rudeness of before, accusing you of being bandit types. I let my hopes get the better of me, and I hope that you can forgive my mistake. Please.
Flavius.
He's looking at his shoes.
You were doing your job and it felt like you did it to the best of your ability.
You believe so?
For the sake of this fort, yes.
Thank you.
I say, well, what's the guy's name again who's with us?
Virgil?
Virgil. So Virgil, make sure we're ready to leave and we can head to do we want to head to the monastery? Do you want to head to the town?
Wherever you wish to head, I'm to be your guide. I will take this duty with the utmost care, and I shall see you safely delivered here or there. Just turned into a Dr. Seuss character.
Anywhere?
Well, I just want to say I'm excited to have you along on this part of the journey. And maybe the only thing I would say is if you're going to join us for this little merry adventure, that you kind of have to default to us, okay? So no more jumping to conclusions, no more chasing bandits while we're out here trying to look and trying to do the Lord's work.
I extend my hand to him.
He reaches a mailed hand down to you.
Welcome to God's army.
Thank ye. And yes, I shall follow your lead, so to speak. Lord Galen instructed me to do so.
How is Lord Galen this morning?
He sends his best, but he's not feeling well. And he has retired to his chambers for the duration of the day.
Is he prone to melancholy,
Verily,
in sooth?
in sooth, verily. But he shall soon rally. I believe in our Lord's ability. He has a deep reserve of courage and of stick-to-itiveness.
I kind of want him to give us a name poem, like all the benefits of Lord Galen. He's great. He's athletic.
He's handsome.
The G is for greatness. He has it to his toes. The A is for alacrity. He has a handsome nose. I don't know.
He truly is a Dr. Seuss. Okay, so I finished my green eggs and ham, and then I'm gonna.
I didn't mean to rush you in the middle of your breakfast, but this is a good time to travel, as the bandits are layabouts and are certainly sleeping off the night's drinking as we make our way upon the paths of the wood.
Well, we ought to be about they's business.
Yeah.
Perhaps to the cloister.
Well
Yeah.
said.
Wait.
You see that Virgil stands up and wipes his hands and his mouth with his napkin, tosses it.
As we're
I shall make our things ready.
as we're prepping to go, I general lay of the land. I ask him where about how far travel and in which direction is the cloister versus the town, the chapel of the Silent Brotherhood, was it?
The Silent Brothers of Thornhaven are actually not very far, but they do have a bit of a remote place, their monastery. The Briarberry, the town, is closer to the keep, but it is also in the opposite direction of the Silent Brothers.
Well, I think we should be about them's business. Y'all agree with that?
Agreed.
All right.
All right. Let us go then. You see that he starts to lead you out of the room. You know, you're able to gather your things. It was a good stay. The room was nice. The food was abundant. The drink was okay, whatever. And you're able to start heading out into the keep. As you start to travel through the underbelly of the Thorn Fort, you know, you've kind of become accustomed to being underneath these hallways that have root and tree motifs. You know, it's like you're in these under warrens within the wood. You feel an energy shift in the keep. There's not as many hurrying servants here and there this morning. It seems more quiet. You're not sure if it's just because it's the morning time or if it's because of the events of the evening prior, but it just feels a little more solemn here as you guys travel. Sir Landon Thorn, as he's leading you to the meadow where the pastures are, as well as the stables, you see that he says, one manner of business I do need to bring up is your prisoner. Would you like him to stay in the root cellar until you have finished your business, or would you like us to fetch him? The Lord has said that his root cellar is certainly open and available. We'll keep your prisoner safe and fed until your business with the Silent Brothers is conducted, or we can hand him over to you as he was when you first came here.
Let's take him with us. Yeah.
Yeah,
You see that Virgil, when you say let's take him with us, you see that Virgil is kind of like, seems to disapprove.
I think that's your call. That's outside of my purview.
Here's my thought.
Lord Flavius, if I may. I think we should do what I said originally and kill this murderer summarily, and then let us move on. But I am not the leader of this group. I am merely offering my opinion. Let God's justice be done, and then let us move on.
I agree with Mac. We should take him with us. We would not put the responsibility upon the Thorn Fort to take care of our prisoners. So, Landon, if you can prep to bring him with us.
That is responsible of you. And
I thought
Bangarang.
I thought we were dropping him off like a couple sessions ago. Sorry. a couple of sessions ago.
A couple episodes ago.
A couple of, yeah, I just thought we were taking him to justice. And are we the ones that are now exercising that justice?
Well, he
Oi.
killed in Port of Morpho, correct?
Indeed.
Yeah, but when the laws of the-
Remember, we are the hand of Mother, Father above.
Any justice that can be met should not be done in the Thorn Fort. So I think whatever behooves us is to take him with us.
Sir Landon says,
I'm moved.
if you will wait then for me, I shall not be long. I shall fetch him and bring him to you.
All right.
If I remember, Virgil, you know the way to the meadow and the stables. Perhaps I shall meet you there. He dismisses himself and starts to walk away quickly. Okay.
Do we trust this guy to actually find his way back with a prisoner?
Landon?
He lives
Yeah.
here.
You see that Virgil is like, I see in this guide that we've been given an insult from Lord Galen. He would send the bumbler with us to guide us through.
Honestly, Lord Galen, I look around. Lord Galen's kind of a dumb bitch anyway. I don't think he's really doing much
Well-
around these places.
Well said.
I say we need to bring back the sanctum, how in disrepair Thornford is.
Right.
It's barely alive.
I think the reason they probably haven't said anything is they don't have anything. You know how many damn acorns we ate?
Yes. I shan't shit for a month.
Just drink a lot of water.
I heard if you put a little bit of salt, a pinch of salt in your water, it'll actually help a ton.
I think you also need
Garlic
to add
salt?
sodium bicarbonate as well.
Garlic salt. Okay, he's leading you out
Okay.
through the keep. As you go through again, you just see a general absence of servants and things going through.
Is it does it get the feeling like I don't know. I'm just
It just feels quiet.
I say,
That's all.
LS, do you feel that Lord Galen sacked his crew in fear that there were more than just those two that we fought last night?
Oh, that's it. I hadn't even thought about that. I was just thinking that maybe that they were putting on a show for us yesterday, and that this is maybe more like the status quo on how things go. I'm gonna kind of look around and be like, actually, what do y'all think about these like hedges? Are they trimmed regularly, or does this just look like a day's worth of work instead of like the upkeep? Mostly, I'm talking to you, Drew. But basically what I'm trying to get across is like, does it look like there's only been like a day's worth of upkeep in the past month? Like, so let's say there was like a month's worth of gardening and they've only done a day's worth to make it look like it was kind of upkept.
Are
Does
we
that
in the
make
Warren
sense?
still?
Mhm.
Yeah.
In the underground?
Oh, fuck.
You're
When we look
you're just
outside.
walking
Yeah.
through.
Well, I guess it's like if there's dust in like the window
Yeah.
seals and the cracks on the floorboard, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tastes like a normal under of a tree, I guess.
Mhm.
No, but you know what I'm getting at? Like, is it in like poor repair because like, so was yesterday just a show for us?
Mm.
Gotcha.
That's all. I
Or
was
does
trying-
the keep reflect the mood of its master?
I think
Oh my
Virgil
gosh.
does, to cycle back to what Virgil said.
Does the thorn fort match the drapes?
Do the hedges match the lattice work?
Okay, you get to you've walked a long way with Virgil leading the way, and you can see that he knows pretty clearly where to go, even at a few different branching turns. You passed like some quiet kitchens and different areas of the keep where there's just no one, but you do pass a few soldiers standing at guard, in various places, and they make no motion to stop you. They just nod as you go by. You end up exiting into this meadow. Okay. And it's a big tree wall around. And you can see at a distance, even from here, that the trees have been shepherded in a way that causes them to intertwine their branches to create sort of a natural wall or barrier. And the meadow is huge and overgrown. So the grass is all pretty high. And you can see some horses far away from you, like grazing gently. And then you can see off to the left, there is a wooden structure with a stone first floor. It goes up 2 floors, but it has a stone, and it's clearly like a stable that's over there with an open, like a huge open sliding barn door. Okay.
Chad, what was the name of the cow that was taken?
Patience.
Patience.
Thank you.
Yes. So you come out here and start heading over to the stable. And as you approach, you can see it looks like pretty quiet, but in the back of the stable, next to a window where there's some morning light coming in, you can see that there are 2 servants. It's sort of a befuddled old stable hand and a doughy female dwarf. You can see they're trying to assemble a clay mannequin, it looks like. So the one stableman you see is old. He has a leather cap over like a bald head, big large hands. He has a nose and ear hair, like he's kind of like old and got all that kind of thing going on, with gray eyes. And then you can see that the dwarf female, she's sort of chubby, wearing an apron, has a thick blonde braid and freckles. And you can see that they're sort of like, you can see they're just having trouble. Like one of them's trying to read a scroll that keeps rolling up, while the older man is trying to like put this leg piece on some sort of joint, in the back.
Ye old IKEA.
Yeah, but they seem distracted enough by it that they don't see you come walking up. You see parked within the stable your carriage, and you can see that your horses are all in sties that look like they've been mucked and cleaned. There's fresh water, and they each have like a bale full of hay, some feed there for them. They seem happy and brushed out and everything else. Okay. At this moment, you can hear Sir Landon Thorne's approach from behind you. You hear the rattle of his plate as he's kind of making his way quickly. And he's bringing with him a very dour-looking Hugh Blumford, who's in manacles, not fighting or anything, just kind of looking at his feet as he walks behind him. Okay.
I go, didn't someone at the dinner last night mention they were trying to make extra servants with golems?
Don't know that they actually said golem, but yeah.
Automatons or something along those
You
lines?
see that
Constructs is their
the
preferred.
woman is reading. She's like, the woman dwarf. She's like, step 1. She's like, review the safety warning. And she's like looking around and just kind of like reading things.
I think we just leave.
So Sir Landon Thorne comes up and kind of helps you. Virgil has now hopped too. He went immediately to his favorite horse and is giving it some loves. And then he comes over and starts to lead them out and hook them up and get them ready.
Okay.
I go let Jake out.
Okay.
Oi.
Jake's happy to see you. Roll a sense motive.
Hey there, Jake.
All y'alls.
Oh, yo.
Y'all ready for this? 6.
6 is bad. You couldn't sense
25.
the motive. 25?
I sensed that Mac had a bad roll.
11.
11. These go to 11. Everything is coming together smartly. All of your guys' things are getting put together, leading the carriage out of the stable. You see that Virgil fashions a rope that's tied to Hugh's manacles that tie him to the back of the carriage, so he'll just follow along behind. You do notice that in this moment, Sir Landon Thorne is helping, but he seems a little preoccupied. His energy is different from when he greeted you that morning.
Is that the
You can
sense
see
motive?
he's kind of, you all of a sudden just notice he looks like he's miles away.
I go over to him.
Okay.
And I say, Landon, what troubles your mind?
You see he's like, what is it, master?
You're
Or silly?
preoccupied. If you're going to travel with us, what troubles your mind?
You see he's like,
And I put my hand on his shoulders.
he goes, I am a bit perturbed. Is it that obvious?
It is.
No.
Well, you see that he looks around. Word spread quickly in the keep last night that 2 of the servants were truly traitors, servants of the Foxtail, that they intended harm to Lady Ilaria.
Yeah, they were going to poison everybody.
Yes. The thing that is, they aren't in the root cellar. I was just there, and there are no captives in the dungeons aside from your prisoner. And I'm confused by this and troubled.
Are you not captain of the guard?
Indeed I am, but I know not where they went.
Sounds like there's two options, right? Like they were moved by somebody or they escaped.
I think there's a third option. Maybe they got. Have you ever heard of capital punishment? Maybe they got killed.
They wouldn't have been killed.
It's pretty easy to kill somebody. I've heard.
You see that he's kind of taken back by that.
I think
He's like, we haven't,
option 4.
blood hasn't been shed by us or our soldiers in many a year.
Obvious. Option 4. More than 2 traders. Perhaps someone in your guard was taking them to the root cellar and just left with them.
Were there signs that they were actually there? Can you talk to the guards that were supposed to be guarding them?
I know. Perhaps these are things that I should have done. You're pointing out good advice, yes. But I've been commanded to go with you. I haven't been tending to these duties.
I think
Sir Oakengreaves now has the order of the fort.
I think maybe it would be a good chance for Landon, captain of Briarthorn, to show his quality. But we can find our own way there, and you can meet up with us once you're able to research.
No,
this.
I must follow the word of my lord. He has bid me to guide you, and guide you I shall. But I am troubled. This is true.
That's a pretty good intuition to have.
We are ready to go.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm going to see what the two people working on the golem are looking like.
You see that they're just confused. I mean, as you approach and go over, you can see that there's a box that's marked "Our Help." Like it's a big crate that's been nailed and everything and stuffed with straw. The lid is off and it's marked "Our Help." And then there's a little subtext on the box that says "Artificial Servants, Genuine Results." And then there's another small script on the box that says "Created in the laboratories of Archwizard Zelion Tusk, Port of Morvo, Vittoria."
Zelion Tusk.
That's a great wizard name.
You see a small slip of paper that's there that says, "If your artificial servant arrives cracked, shattered, or in otherwise deteriorated condition, please return to Archwizard Tusk for a full refund."
Have I heard that name before?
You've heard a name similar to it. Okay. Not in the campaign.
Is it Elon Musk?
Zelion Tusk.
Right over my head.
You see that the dwarf looks at you and she's like, "Oh, hello, my lord. Perhaps you could do better than me with these instructions." She thrusts this rolling scroll into your hands.
Okay, I grab it.
All right. You see that it's a lot of fine print and some big headings, and I'll send to you what it says.
Chad, I asked Virgil to come and collect the base. Is the box on a piece of paper or is it etched into the box?
The scroll?
I mean, the description of all this information.
Oh, so the main descriptions I gave you, the "Our Help," artificial servants,
on a label?
results, it was labeled on the box.
I was going to pull off the label then. And take
But it's it's like wood burned on the box.
Okay.
Does it mean it's wood burned on the crate?
How big's the crate? Is it
Let's
the
just do
size
an
of the
etching.
table?
I'm just kidding.
The crate is like a coffin. Okay. And at this point, you can see that there is a torso, a clay torso with one leg all the way completed attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see the rest of the bits are there, and you can see the stable hand. He'll lift off his leather cap and rub his bald head that's sweating, and he'll put it back on. And you see he's trying to just kind of figure it out contextually.
Yeah.
Not really following directions, But you can see that he seems to be making progress. It's just slow going.
Okay, let's see.
My name's Cookie, by the way.
Mm. Well, Cookie.
And you, who are you? Are you the? Oh, of course, you must be the guests. One of the guests we had yesterday.
We are sent from the answerer above to help this region.
Ah,
Have you heard about the murder?
faith folk. I
Have you-
like y'all. What's your name, Master?
Flavius Orsini.
Oh, what a fancy name. Are you from a fancy city?
From Sanctum. I'm trying to read, ma'am.
Oh, I apologies. I just haven't spoken to someone so handsome in so long.
Doubt you'll find someone so I put down the paper and I say, doubt you'll find so handsome in a long time.
Okay. That's what I said.
Once again,
While he's learning how to read,
And they keep coming handsome.
we're actually the exact same amount of handsome. I just want to
I
point
do notice that you're taller than this one. I like them long legs of yours.
By an inch.
It's an angry inch.
If you cut off his mohawk, we're basically the same height.
Almost. the
Some
same.
say an
I
inch
do
is a
like
lot.
your fetching hair, Master.
Thank you. So my question is, how many of these do y'all have? How many are you putting together?
We only have the one for now.
Mm.
But between you and I, can I? No, I shouldn't speak.
Oh.
It's not my place to speak.
It's all right. Just between me, you, and the wall and the horse.
I don't like these fake servants and whatnot. What are they? They're going to take all our jobs.
What
I
if
say-
there was a way to like track which servants were good and which servants were not legal? Would that make you feel better?
What do you mean by legal? Like
Well-
against the Lord's wishes?
Exactly.
Oh,
Like they can't come onto the property.
Who ordered this?
Well, the Lord Galen paid for it. Yes, it's expensive. These things.
Well, whose name's on the? Is there like a receipt?
He ordered one. I'm afeared that it's. I wonder if this one will not work, and then we won't have to have such a worry.
Well, what if you...
Sorry, go ahead.
I say, well, we don't have time to sit here and dawdle, but we're more than willing to take it to the monastery and work on it there and bring it back when it's up and running.
I was gonna say, or what if some rogues took this one away and stole it?
I'd be lying. We can work on it on the road.
You're right. I'm sorry. I was just thinking that we should probably protect it from these bandits.
This thing is very complicated.
It is. I've got a splitting headache. Been looking at it for an hour.
I say, LS, do you think it's something we could... I hand him, like, the paper.
You hear the old stable hand go, "Ha! I see. It's like a man."
It's incredible.
And
Like he just noticed that
it's like a man.
It's like a man's shape.
Chad, I'm gonna roll my knowledge arcana
Mm-hmm.
to just make up some bullshit and be like, well, it could be a bluff or an arcana.
Okay.
And just be like, oh yeah, the construct of the blah blah blah, you gotta connect the prestidigitation to the languishing hamburger stand. Natural one.
Ooh.
So 9.
I
but yeah.
don't believe you.
Oh,
see
it's
that
not for you, it's
Cookie's
for
like-
the cow.
Cookie?
Cookie's looking at you like,
Cookie cutter.
she's like, is he all right in the head?
This is magic talk.
Science, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
So, well, if you want Cookie, we can take it. And then if it's figured out, we can bring it back to you. I don't want to get you in trouble at all.
You see, she goes, what you think? Sorry. What you think, Jonas? To the old man. And he's like, I can figure it out. Look at the progress I'm making. I'll get it done. Just shut up, woman. Let me put it together.
Jonas, did you read the safety warnings?
What's it? I don't need it.
Although not intended for violence, your artificial servant is exceptionally strong. Use discretion and clarity when making commands.
You see that he kind of backs his hands away. Well, this thing can hurt us.
And imagine so. Did you not read any of the instructions?
She's like, oh, he can't read.
Well, I think it's
Bit of a
probably
sore spot for the old coot.
best. Sorry to interrupt you, Chad. I think the best for Lord Galen is for us to take it. LS is a man of the science, and he can dawdle and tinker with it when we have downtime,
I can diddle with this thing.
and then return it to you when it's up and running, and give you a short run through.
So, quick question: Are you telling the truth or are you lying?
I'm being honest.
You're honest,
I'm
so
just trying to
you'll bring
help
it
him
back.
out. Like the
Like you'll
idea.
bring, I just want to understand if you're trying to steal it or not.
I'm not trying to steal it. My Flavius's full intention is when we have downtime, I want to work on it
Okay.
to get it set up and working, and then deliver it back to
Okay.
them. If something happens along the way, but I am not I'm not
Cool.
bluffing like
roll,
Brandon.
roll just a
Like
diplomacy.
Brandon is straight up trying to
Give us
say
a
that
cool
Robert
toy.
stole it.
You're like, I'm not a liar like Brandon. That's
I
exactly.
was
But
trying
I
to
want-
help her.
Okay,
But I
roll
want
roll
diplomacy.
your diplomacy.
8 plus 11, 19.
19.
If you're of course willing, us to.
I
Put a
think
little
I
bit
could
of time
deal
in.
with this thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You see
Molding a
that
big
she's like,
dong out of
"Oh,
this, like-
really? You can see she's kind of hopeful
Mhm.
and she likes what you're saying.
Yeah.
And she's like, what you think? And turns to Sir Landon.
Mhm.
And he's like, I think it's a novel idea. He goes, I'm to be their guide anyway. I can keep an eye on things.
Okay.
Let's load it up.
Cookie Jonas, get it on our
see
wagon.
that-
Let's get moving.
You see that Jonas and Sir Landon put the pieces back into the casket and shut it. You know, not like nail it, but
Mhm.
like put the lid that fits back on. Then they load it up and lash it to the top of the carriage.
Cool.
Okay. And you see that Cookie's like, oh, what a load off my mind. I can get back to the kitchens.
Are you the one that's been making all that delicious acorn meals?
Have you logged it?
Oh, I recognize the touch of
you
a
notice her
master's
big
hand.
smile. She has a gap in her teeth.
Does she smell like a fucking squirrel?
No, she smells like that delicious bread that you've been
Mm.
eating.
That's not a good smell for a human.
She's a dwarf.
She's
Oh, that's
mostly,
fair.
she's 90% bread. She's a doughy.
I kind of give the
Dwarf.
eyes towards Mac to her.
Hey, this is the same thing as you.
It's highly offensive. You know I'm royalty, right?
You are?
No.
What about your brother?
Mhm,
Jake, what do you think?
mhm.
I mean, I think we
You
can.
see, so as you guys are starting to like walk out, you see that Cookie's just eyeing your long legs pretty lecherously. And then Jonas gets back to something with a pitchfork, just
Yeah.
starts working back in the stables.
Okay.
All right, you guys head out?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, you start to hit the road.
If I were to roll my appraise, what would I think that this thing is worth? Just like a ballpark.
Oh, sure.
I thought that was going to be the first thing you were going to do.
That's fair. 20. Unnatural 20.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What do you assume that this is?
So I assume it's a construct because that's what
Yeah.
from the conversation last night at dinner
Yeah.
and from seeing it and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
And from
Yes.
just using my eyes.
using
Yes.
my
So
eyes.
you think this could be worth thousands of gold pieces? It
They
could
just
be.
gave it to you?
It could be really expensive.
wow, that acorn head is so dumb.
Why?
Someone mentioned me.
Oh, not that.
Not that acorn.
I just love that we're
He's penis head.
he's for sure penis head.
He's got his acorn helm.
Yeah.
So, question, my lords. We're at the proverbial fork in the road. Are we headed to Briarberry, or shall we go and see the Silent Brothers and your friends there?
Silent Brothers.
We're going to the
Silent Brothers.
bros. Yeah.
Indeed.
Also, what are we gonna do with this prisoner? Y'all want to execute judgment
Mate.
here?
Look, we've got a murderer. We've got a murderer. Let's hold on to it.
Ah, okay. I just thought we were gonna be Judge Judy executioner.
It's not Judge Judy Executioner.
All right, whatever.
As we're traveling, Chad, I want to make conversation with Landon
Mhm.
I
and
see.
get ignore Mac completely as he rides his brother, the donkey. I don't know it's his brother.
It's a mini horse.
I'm just trying to get him to talk about
mini
Lord
pony.
Galen because in Flavius's mind, like over the past 24 hours, or the past like night, like definitely opened my eyes that there's a lot more there.
Sure.
So if you want me to gather information
Yeah.
or diplomacy, just to like
Mhm.
get as much as I can. Oh, that does not gather information in Pathfinder. I'll roll diplomacy.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
good. You, by the way, as you're leaving this meadow and setting forth on the road,
A natural 20.
Ooh, nice.
Again,
Nice.
it is the legend.
Verily,
Lisan al-Gaib.
in sooth. As you're leaving, the morning is dewy, and like it looks like maybe it had rained gently the night before. It's got all that good forest smells as you're headed out. The sun is shining, but there are big clouds in the sky, and you're under the canopy, this vault of old oak. Right as you start to leave, you do notice that shortly after leaving the meadow, you start to lose some elevation and go down a hill and into more of a forest proper. And looking back, you can see that the Thorn Fort, which is underground, is like inside of a hilltop of trees. You see what I mean? So it's almost like a raised oaken fortress, but it's, up a little bit.
Full on Cahokia.
Yeah. As you guys are traveling as well, you see and can hear and experience like sounds of the wildlife and everything else as you start to go through. But it's just a very healthy, old, deciduous forest as you're traveling through. Okay. Now, the paths that you're on, because of the light rain the night before, are soft, and so the horses are slopping a little bit, and there's the wheels are really leaving some ruts in the soft earth as you travel, but you're able to visit with.
And I'm just trying to like get more of a history, get more of an understanding. Like,
Sure.
I don't imagine he knows a lot about him, but just to get him talking about Lord Galen and just any way that like the situation has got there.
Following Fulmer's prompt.
Yeah.
You see that he says, some of the things that he says are all reflections of how Lord Galen has treated him.
Yeah.
So you can see he's like, I'm one to jump into the fray and immediately seize upon an opportunity, and often it gets me in trouble, frankly.
And how has Lord Galen ever reprimanded you or approached you with that?
He'll lash me with his words. He has a hot temper, but he's always been fair. And I know that he's a good leader, and I respect him, even though sometimes his words sting. It hurts my feelings.
And what is your workload like?
Well,
How long
morale is bad in the company.
how long have you been in service of Lord Galen?
All my life. I was a squire to his father.
What was his
The
father
Thorn
like?
family is one of nobility here in Thornhaven, and we are proud of that lineage. You see, he kind of hits his chest with that red ring of thorns on his. We've always been in tight with the ruling of this land. I'm proud to execute that lineage and duty.
So his name's Galen Thorn.
Thornhaven.
Okay.
But you, he's implying that the Thorns and the Thornhavens had a connected heritage
Okay.
in the past. And I mean, the names are close, so maybe.
Well, Zach is working on that. I'm going to be diddling with my dude.
Diddling. So I want you to roll a smell check.
Smell?
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of them. 2.
I did roll a 2, actually.
Oi, mate, how's your sex doll?
This seems to have been fucked. Sorry.
Just as I thought. We're all like, I don't remember it.
Wrist deep. No.
It ate your watch.
You got to test its prison wallet.
This one's eating my popcorn. That's like the punchline to some shitty old joke. I don't know what it is. Actually, the joke, I only know that joke because it's the punchline that Tommy Lee Jones says in Men in Black when Will Smith gets. I don't know the joke. I don't know the setup. Anyway,
You got a 2, and then what's another one?
Well, I get to add my intelligence to it, so it was a 5 was the first, and then the second one is a 14.
So, you started the morning smelling these beautiful earth scents and everything else, and as you're going, there's a moment where it smells like dog crap to you. Like you're like, what the? And it passes as you guys are like riding on this trail. And the trails again aren't very straight. They kind of like meander through the woods.
Are we still going
Almost
down?
like going around these old trees. Like it's like the trees were there first, and then the trail has kind of found its way through.
I like that.
So you had a moment of that, and then later on, you have another moment where you can smell that like one of the horses is like past gas or something, but it's just like you're noticing these really intense smells, okay, as you're going. And after about an hour and a half, you smell very distinctly, you smell blood in the air, and it's enough of a punch to you that it makes you like kind of stop. Like you're like, what the?
Y'all smell that blood?
What?
Huh?
Y'all smell blood? What?
No.
What? Is it this thing? Ugh.
You're up diddling with the
He's
artificial
taking parts of the clay from the legs
Uh-huh.
and the torso and making a giant dong.
Something that's strange to you, LS. You not only smell the blood, but you smell the direction it's coming from, and it's a new sensation for you where you're like, oh, it's like over there, like off of the trail.
Which direction, boy?
I think someone fell in a well. Lassie.
LSE.
Lassie. That's the joke. That's where it comes. I think it's coming from over here.
I
Smells weird.
smell nothing.
Maybe take your helmet off.
Well, this is sorry, Virgil.
Oh shit, sorry.
But you see that Sir Landon Thorn, you see that he like loosens the clasp on his two-handed sword on his back, almost like at ready a little bit, looks around.
I look back to
He's
see
like,
what Hugh's
it's a
doing.
bit he starts to speak lower. It's a bit early for the foxtails to be out and about. Like I said, I think they're layabouts, lazy bandits.
Well, maybe it's just like something was killed or something. I don't know.
Some people are morning people. Other people are more effective, more creative at night. It's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. What direction?
I think this way. I point to whatever way it's.
So he points off of the road. You happen to look back because you're where you are with Jake. I'm assuming you're riding with Jake. You're in the back by Hugh Blumford, and you see that Hugh Blumford is staring in that direction.
Yeah, good dog.
Hey, giddy up! I mean, off trail.
You see that Jake takes happily to a less worn trail and seems to enjoy going through some of the brush.
Good boy.
And like is nipping at different plants as he goes by. Even though he doesn't stop to eat, he's like taking bites as he goes.
Just to be an asshole.
Like constantly eating something. As you start to get up in there, you start to hear a sizzling sound. Like somebody's bringing some fajitas out on a platter. And you're all just like, wait, what did they order?
Oh shit, my clothes are gonna smell like this for the rest of the day.
You just hear some sizzling sound.
I investigate.
I'm going to follow.
Are you guys following him over there?
I told Virgil to stay with you.
Can we take the carriage? Or is it not?
No.
Virgil grabs a sack of apples to go and start feeding the horses. He doesn't seem like particularly interested in going over there.
Landon, stay with Virgil.
You see, he's like, I'll keep an eye on your prisoner. Kind of is watching Hugh. Okay.
Are you riding or are you walking?
I have a horse, but I'm just going to walk.
I'll walk with you.
Yeah. I figured you guys were on the carriage, not riding horseback.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
assume
I do have a horse for me that's going with them, but I'm just gonna jog with LS after.
You guys go up
Jake the
into
snake.
the woods, and it's like ferns and wild, plants and things on the ground around you.
I hate nature. I can't wait to
You
get
come
back
into
to the
this
city.
area, and it's pretty clear from the sizzling sound that you can see that there's a sword laying out on the ground, and it's half of this shining sword is covered in black, bubbling like fluid. It's like sizzling on the sword. It's laying there, and you see that the sword is being held by a hand. It kind of goes under some ferns.
Don't eat the blood.
I think I learned my lesson.
Don't eat that liquid.
Stop guzzling blood.
Is this the smell?
Is it?
Yeah, you come up here and the smell is so strong. It's kind of like you almost taste it in the back of your throat. Like there's just such a blood smell here. And as you guys get even closer to this sword, you start to see that there's like blood on the ground. And it seems like there was some kind of tumult in this area. And it's clear that the hand is attached to like a shoulder of an arm that's been like ripped out.
Oh my
And
gosh! So
there's
it's not
blood. There's
It's
no
not someone
body.
hiding in the bush.
There's just blood all over in this area. And you notice it seems like there's just all kinds of the like plants and earth disturbed in this area. And you can even see some of the branches above are like broken and kind of hanging, and there's a bunch of leaves that have fallen in this area.
Mac, can you tell us what type of creature this was?
I grab the arm and I pull it out from underneath the bush. It's fully unattached.
Yeah, you see it's
What have you
fully
done?
unattached. You see that the arm is muscled and lean, and it looks like it has a tattoo on it of like a bird with its wings wrapping around where it's like feathers touch behind on the forearm, this sort of thing. And you realize in a moment of remembrance, seeing this arm before, attached to a man holding his swords out.
Oh my
Fulmer,
gosh,
yeah.
this is
Fulmer.
Fulmer.
Elven arm.
Less Fulmer now.
You can see
What
that the
was he-
rigor mortis is such that when you pick up the arm, it stays attached to the sword.
Okay.
And the sword, the blood that's on the metal kind of like slides and oozes and drops to the ground and it's bubbling.
So
And
Is-
you can
oh.
see where it was resting on the sword, it's left a discoloration. It's not like it's eaten through the metal, but it's left a discoloration clearly.
Ellis. I mean, don't drink it, but what's up with this blood?
I don't know. Let me do some investigation.
Tell me your bloodology.
I
You
don't.
gonna-
I don't. I'll see how it goes. Oh God.
This could be maybe
Immediately.
what killed.
What
And you
what did I
priest.
roll last time for tasting blood? I'm not tasting it, to be
I think
clear.
you just rolled intelligence or alchemy.
I guess it could be like a survival check.
I sense motive on the blood.
The blood is bubbling.
Is it
Them
bubbling?
shits is bubbling like friggin'
I touched the
Sausage
sword.
and
I touched the
75.
sword. Is the sword hot?
No, the sword is
Okay.
cold.
Sorry, 6.
Roll a search here.
All of us?
Yes.
I hate this.
Do you have survival?
I sure do.
You roll that. You little wily dwarf, you.
24.
24. Ooh, I like that. And then what did you get, Flavius?
15.
And then Ellis?
I got a 15 as well.
15. Okay. You find. Okay. Which one of you has what's your search modifier?
Well, I
11.
don't have any ranks in searches. Is my
That was just
it's
your
my
natural roll.
wisdom.
Do you have some ranks in it?
11.
Oh, dang.
Okay. So you
Or
don't,
I'm sorry, not rank. My ranks are 3.
but you have ranks in it. You don't
it's
have any ranks in it.
untrained, yeah,
Okay,
it's just
so
my wisdom.
you guys kind of almost at the same time find a spike that's about this long and it's sticking in the earth. It was hard to see because it's like kind of black, but it looks almost like a quill, right? But it's a spike like this. And when you take it out of the ground, you can see that the tip, it like tends to yellow, and then white right at the tip. But it's clearly like strange, like a barb, that sort of thing. And you find this. Now you, with your check, can see that you're not you can clearly see you're not the first people to find this little spot. That sometime earlier today, there was, it looks like maybe a halfling walking around in this area.
Ew. I'm just kidding. I love halflings. Adorable.
Yeah, that's just.
Okay. I look at the quill,
Okay.
and I very quickly determine.
Where porcupine? Also could be a halfling around here.
Wait, this came out of a halfling?
Possibly.
I say Fulmer felt well trained. I don't know what could have done. Was it? I look at the arm and see if it was like cut off, bitten, ripped. Like
It's hard to say, but it's not clean. Like it still has some of the shoulder meat attached. It looks like it was torn.
ew.
Quite strong.
So, if my memory serves, is this not the same way that the brother that died
Possibly.
was kind of torn apart?
I think in the letter they mentioned it was gruesome, right?
Yeah.
Did
They
it
did
specifically
mention it
mention
was
torn?
intense. I can tell you what the letter says.
What kind of halfling would do this?
Most. Let's take
it
the quill with us.
says- So in the letter, it says the carnage was severe and sadly beyond our meager attempts at healing.
Wah, wah.
That's all it says.
All it said was womp womp.
But
I
a
shout.
word like carnage
Carnage
is intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Stronger than
shout,
venom.
Chad, with my
Mhm.
heal. I'm assuming that if someone lost their arm, I'm going to look. I'm like, is there a blood trail? Is there a way to see if he's
like,
alive?
see if he
Fulmer! I
left.
shout Fulmer's name. Fulmer!
Sure. Okay, you yell.
Fulmer!
We have Landon with us. He doesn't know shit. He's too dumb.
You yell, and you can hear that your words don't echo. It's almost like you're in a blanket, so it's like really quiet quickly because you're under the trees. But you do have a sense of dread drops into the pit of your stomach when you're like, whatever tore him up could still be out
I
there.
take out my shield and my warhammer.
It's just that feeling.
I say, Mac,
Now-
is there a way to?
You asked about a blood trail.
Yeah.
You're
I ask Mac.
Yeah,
I say,
as
is there a
he's
way
looking,
to know?
Mac, you can see there's blood in this area, right? So like whatever,
Everywhere.
all over, and there seems to be like a blood trail that sprays out in one direction and then it ends. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that's closest to like a blood trail leading away, and then all the other blood feels localized. But also
the
looking
blood-
at it from a blood like consistency perspective and the rot of the arm, you're assuming this must have happened like
Right after.
right
he left
after
us.
he was leaving you guys.
Ugh, sucks to suck. Is the trail that ends? Is it like a spray? Like a
It could have been an
Like,
artery spray,
like
arterial
you ripped
spray.
a dude in half or
Yeah,
something, and
it could be that.
anime style just painted
Sure.
the ground.
Looks
I-
like we got a squirter.
Disgusting. I look up to see if there's any marks that lead up in the tree because I know that Fulmer basically came in on the tree. Does
You
it
do
look like
see
that?
that the canopy seems really, like I said, there was like branches broken and stuff. It looks
Mhm.
like something hit into the trees because some of the boughs and things are bent and broken, and there's debris from the trees and branches all over the scene as well.
Okay.
Like an amount that tells you there was some disturbance up in the boughs. You're not exactly sure.
So if a halfling came upon this, I assume you told us about the halfling.
Sure.
Yeah. I say if a halfling came upon it, do you feel like evidence could have been taken, or they smelled it like
And maybe
LS?
something shiny.
Does the arm have any? Sorry, Brandon.
No, go ahead.
Does the arm have any distinguishing marks on it?
Yeah. So
Tattoo.
the tattoo, it has that bird tattoo where the wings go around and touch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a forearm tattoo where you can see like the back of this bird and then come around and touch. Yeah, like that.
Well, I take a sample of the blood, the black blood.
How are you going to
Drink
take
it.
That's
You
a
know what I
good
mean? Like,
question.
because
Am I
it's
going to
still
touch it?
them shits are still sizzling,
Yeah, I thought I had.
I have vials. If you
and
need some,
it's
Brandon.
it's sizzling and
Please.
it's black in such a way that it is like kind of scary. Like you wouldn't want to touch it.
So
You know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
gonna. I've learned my lesson. I'm not gonna put it in my mouth. May I use one of your vials?
Yeah, I give Brandon one of my vials.
Thank you for your vial.
I have glass vials, and I'm going to try to help him.
Great,
Thank you.
collect it.
great.
So we're
Will
gonna
you roll a dexterity
Yeah, that's
check?
exactly what
It's
I
a
want.
vial.
A vial full of bile.
I
A
got
vial.
I got a
full of vial.
14 to do that.
14. All
And
right,
I'd like to smell it closely.
Great. It does not have the same smell as the blood around, When you smell it, you can smell the acidity and the toxicity of it. Like it's like a really unique smell. You've never smelled anything like it, but it creates an immediate impression in you where you're like, I know if I smell, like I would know that smell anywhere now.
What does this smell like to you guys?
Does
Don't
it
taste it.
To you guys, it smells like burning.
burning?
Tastes like burning.
Chad, I'm going to take LS's sword from his hand.
Like
I mean, sorry.
like if you burnt a stew It's like the stuff you would scrape off the bottom of the burned Dutch oven or whatever.
I'm gonna take Fulmer's sword out of his hand,
Mhm.
and then I'm like gonna stick it in the ground and try to clean off the rest of the blood. Now that he got it collected,
Got it. Yeah.
and then I'm just gonna take the sword with me.
Okay. Sounds good.
Well, that sucks for this person.
Is it a longsword, Chad?
Yes.
I think we should probably go back to our prisoners and see. Also, as we're
They're all prisoners.
of their own device. I would like to just before we get back, so we're on the same page. We're going to leave this Landon outside, right? He's not going to follow us. Clearly, he's been sent to shadow us, but he has no business and he has no authority to join us.
I expect him to take us to the monastery, and then that's it.
That's great. I'm on the same page. Do you feel good about that too?
Send him away, sure.
As we are sent to answer this great question sent by the answerer above.
Father above.
He's not privy to our mysteries.
I agree. I just think that
I agree too, buddy.
I agree.
I agree. We should do that, but maybe we just let him tend the carriage or whatever. I don't know. Stick his, whatever. It doesn't matter.
He'll be a good man to watch you. I think that'll give him something easy to do.
You can hear someone approaching,
Yeah.
and you notice that it's Virgil.
Okay.
Right, Mr. Tibbets. He comes walking up, and you see he has his hand on his rapier, and he's like, "Is everything all right? I heard a yell."
I say
yelled?
I say we found an arm and a sword, a scuffle here, some creature. What would you say it was? Some type of porcupine?
Yeah, probably.
Giant porcupine ripped off a man's arm, so it might be related to the beast. I'm interested to see if the monastery has any idea.
Above.
I thought you said this was a halfling. I must have missed it.
You see, he walks over to the arm and
Where
raises an
porcupine,
eyebrow.
Same.
He's like, "How gruesome!"
You
With
like
that
it.
smirk.
But he seems a little bit like he's into it.
You want some battle?
We found this blood. Have you ever smelled something like this?
See, fully talked.
Well, give it here, and I'll tell you.
Smell, taste.
Oh, don't taste it.
Smells like smells like burnt supper.
I was thinking the same thing, and I've never smelled a blood like this, and I would remember.
This is blood.
We think so.
Is this beast born of fire?
Maybe Iker. I don't know how you say that word actually.
Maybe it's like a kitchen pot goblin.
Golem he speaks a little lower.
Kitchen pots.
You suppose that the beast is nearby?
If he is, we should probably get back to our investments on the carriage.
Indeed.
Before we start heading back, I say, Virgil, we're going to leave Landon out of the majority of our conversations once we get to the monastery.
Do you suppose that he might need to be silenced?
Landon?
I think he's too dumb.
I don't feel he can carry much of a... That cup has a lot of holes in it, so I'm not worried too much.
Indeed. He is quite a useless tool.
This is the first time we've ever traveled with Virgil, right?
Yeah, it's been a few days now, and you're just
Chomping at the
sensing
bit.
he has a real edge to him.
Okay. All right, we're going to head back to the...
Okay, you guys come back. You see that Sir Landon is kicking at something, kind of picking. He just seems kind of out of it.
He's not guarding at all.
Yeah,
Sitting in the field picking flowers.
Yeah,
in
it's like
left
he's
field.
looking at things. Like he's got like a fern and he's pulling all the little.
Chad, I'm
leaves
going to
off it.
sneak up on him.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to roll my dex.
Go ahead. Yeah, roll a move silent or.
I got a stealth, move silently. This is my dex, and that is a 13.
Okay. Yeah, you creep right up to him, and he's kind of just.
And I say, a guard pays attention, Landon.
Ah! He tries to get his sword out, and his arm gets stuck. And he turns back. And he's like, "Oh."
I shake my chain shirt. Said it had a chain shirt on. You got to pay attention.
Oh, sorry. My mind is somewhere else today. I apologize. Are we back to the road?
Yes.
Well, let's go. The monastery awaits. You
Onward.
guys start to head on your way.
Come
Okay.
on, Jake.
So after another hour and a half, 2 hours of winding through a pretty beautiful wood, you see that you reach an area where the trees become even more old and lofty, oak trees. Their roots are deep and they're interspersed with smooth trunked maple trees. The path becomes manicured, and each stepping stone appears to have been placed there. You notice that there are flower beds that are cultivated along the pathway, lined with purple clematis, violets, and trillium. Trillium's like a white flower.
Mm-hmm.
Trillium's a white flower.
You take a few more turns and you see an old dog with a white coat and yellow eyes laying beside the path, panting in the afternoon, struggling to keep his eyes open for want of a nap. Okay. You notice as you pass that Hugh Blumford just like stares at the dog as you guys go by, like almost like with a little bit of aggression or fear, potentially. And you see that the dog is just kind of like
Good
just
boy.
watching, just old, watches him go by. You can smell a fireplace before you see the modest wooden homes of the silent brothers that emerge from hiding in the foliage. There are tended lawns and vibrant gardens that are under fish nets, presumably to keep other wildlife out from eating their things. It's very idyllic.
To keep their gardens sexy.
You see a young man in a filthy white robe, wearing an apron and kneeling in the dirt, his hands pulling weeds up by the roots from a flower bed, and his eyes widen at your approach. He stands and runs into one of the buildings. And moments later, you see blinking men of all ages and races beginning to emerge, this army of mutes wearing robes of white, tending to be dirty and road-stained below the knee and past the elbow. And although you see several smiles among them, concern tends to be the emotion on most of their faces. You see that in the circle of these wooden homes, there is a stone chapel. It's the only stone chapel or only stone building you see in this area. And a man comes out, one half elf, holding a large book. He hands it to a red-haired youth and then crosses towards you. You see that he has a graceful and dignified air with silver hair and kind almond-shaped eyes. He's wearing a more elegant robe than those that are around him. It's sort of a serene blue and white and adorned with intricate patterns and symbols that look like symbols you recognize. Like there's a blue representation of all of the crown, the serpent, and the shield upon him. As he approaches, you see that he's like, "Oh, welcome," when he comes towards you. Now he speaks at you, which kind of maybe surprises you.
I thought you were silent.
You must be the friends of Prior Thelian, yes?
We are. We are sent from Sanctum by the Holy They.
Peace be upon you, questioners. I hope that your journey was comfortable.
I am Flavius Orsini of the Serpents.
I heard your name before. Orsini. Yes, a family of prominence. Indeed, it is an honor to meet you.
I shake his hand and I go, "Who are you? And what is your name? Good monk."
I am Prior Dorian. I have been appointed prior now that Prior Thelian has met his gruesome end. And I now lead the Silent Brothers here and am voice for them that do not speak. It is good to speak with you, newcomers to our monastery.
Well met.
It is indeed good to see strange faces, hopefully to come and deliver answers to us, those who follow the knower above.
Yes, it's nice to be back in the presence of believers. I'm LS. I'm also here under the direction of the church with my friends. And
Indeed.
we are here to help. So thanks for having us. It's a lovely place here. We'd like to see the body
is.
if you haven't buried it.
Have you eaten? Need you sustenance before we go and show you more?
Yeah,
Please.
I could eat.
Break bread with us.
Do you have any
commune
acorns?
As questioners, friends of faith.
Chad, does this guy just feel like he hasn't talked in many years, and that's
He's
kind of
happy
like
to
his
talk.
vibe? Yeah, okay.
He's happy to talk. You can tell. And all of the crowd around stays. So it's weird
Because they want to hear people talking.
They want to hear. They're all there. They're of different ages and races. You see every race represented except for like half orcs,
Mhm.
you know? You see every race represented. They all wear similar garb. They seem kindly. They're gentle folk, but you can see that there's amusement and concern and interest on their
Mhm.
faces. And you notice that some of them sign to each other, and they seem to have a sign language among them, but it seems incomprehensible. It's not even in the same company as Thieves' Cant. So it's not something that you recognize. It just seems strange.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I also have American Sign Language.
Oh, okay.
Just
ASL?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything
How go things in Sanctum? Is the holy capital still glorious and bright?
Brighter by the day.
Bit stuffy.
We'll break bread, but we need to make.
It doesn't suit you, Mr. Dwarf?
I like this a lot more.
It is beautiful, is it not? You
It
see, he
is.
kind of steps around.
You gonna stay
Looks-
here?
We take it for granted, this
Okay.
idyllic setting here amid the wood. And we wish it could feel as safe as it used to. But the Prior's murder has left us all feeling a bit uneasy. You see lots of nods among the silent folk.
I nod with
around you.
them.
You see that Sir Landon seems weirded out, by all of the silent folk. But you see that Mr. Tibbets seems like very approving of this piety
Mhm.
among these people.
I approach Landon
Mhm.
and pull him aside. And I say, Landon, this is a situation for the faith.
I understand.
It is best for you to stay back with the Caradid and watch over the prisoner.
Indeed, I shall. I'll take the duty seriously. And this time, I shall be alert.
Eyes up and alert.
I shall be alert.
I say,
See
we'll
that
come
he
and speak
goes-
to you before
he
nightfall.
goes, he goes aside and kind of stands guard.
I'd say we'll be back before nightfall, but if anything comes up, you'll know where to find us.
we haven't said anything to the prisoner, have we? I
He's just
tasted
come
your
along.
blood.
He's come along
Yeah.
quietly.
I've tasted your blood.
It's not very good.
I know what secrets.
Okay.
I go back to Prior Dorian. Dorian?
Yeah.
So Prior Dorian, we'll break bread, but we need to be quick.
You see, he's like, bring food that can be eaten as we walk and talk. Thank you. You see, he's like calling out to a few, and they're running quickly to go
As-
and get some things.
As they go, I'm gonna give them like a quick rundown of any big major events that have happened in Sanctum, like anything,
Sure.
the news that they would miss out, just so
Yeah.
I can talk.
That's great.
I'm just trying to building rapport, seeing that they're hungry just to hear voices.
Mhm.
Like I'm just gonna just blabber on
That's
why they're
great.
getting food just to
Nice.
like fill their ears with stuff like the
Mhm.
chariot races or a great
Yeah.
flood or like anything
great.
like that. I'm just gonna go out, start trying to build trust with these monks.
That's awesome. I love that. And as you do, you find that they react. You see
Mhm.
like smiles among them. You don't ever hear laughter, even in moments where you would hear it, but you see smiles. You see them like the sound you can hear is their hands like making symbols and like
Mhm.
signing to each other, and their feet as they follow you, right?
Okay.
Kind of in this herd, food is brought to you. You can see that it's like these small little muffins that have been made that are kind of like chewy. And you think that they might have like some kind of honey in them, and you see that you're each brought like a wine horn that can be drunk, and they have some fruit that actually is really good. Like they're like small clementines that seem to have grown here. And it's a modest snack, but it is nice and fortifying as you guys start to walk through this area.
And no acorns, right?
No acorns
Wonderful.
among the stuff. You do see from the vibrance of their gardens and things, you assume that they eat quite well here. You don't think they maybe eat a lot of meat. You don't see any livestock, but you do see really healthy gardens. Okay. Now, as he starts, there's a moment that's pretty clear. Prior Dorian is leading you out of this monastery area. All of the houses are very orderly, around this stone chapel, and he starts to lead you on a path that starts to step down and go out away from this area. And all of the mutes, these silent brothers, stop following you and even kind of turn back and start to leave. You get the sense that there's fear there. Like they're uncomfortable and afraid to venture out with you. Okay. And you see that Prior Dorian notices it. And he's like, forgive them. They have not forgotten the blood and the scene which Prior Thelian was found in. They do not feel safe to continue. I would do as they do, yet with you I feel some degree of safety, as I see you are martial beings, those who can use the weapon. This way. And he leads you down a stair with less manicured things that are now maybe growing a little more wild as you head. And you start to approach what he calls the bee glade. Okay. This was a favorite place of the prior. The hives were the prior's pride. He spent many hours here tending to the hives, and we shall be sad to lose the gold and honey if they cannot recover from the massacre. And you see as you enter this area that truly there's like these, white boxes that you would typically see for beehives. They've just been like trashed, scattered in all areas. And there's just chaos in this glade. Okay. As you approach as well, you can see that there are flies, like black flies in the area. Crazy. Which all of a sudden feels like a moment of rot, that's here. And roll a smell check.
Perfect. Yep. Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Watch that dog nose go.
You again smell blood, but it's old blood now. It's different. And you can smell the black substance here. Even though you can't hear it or see it, you smell a trace of it, like it was here. Does that make sense?
Sticky icky.
And this is something that he smells and notices that you guys don't.
So I'm going to cast Detect Magic in the area.
Okay.
Hockety pockety walkety walk.
Great.
And then be like, I think there's some blood over here. Like, I'm not really hiding it, but I'm just like casting Detect Magic to see if there are any traces. And then as a result, I'm also going to be like, it smells like this old blood, or go towards it in a way that would seem not to deceive them, but more of just like.
And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
And more of just like kind of a show for this guy, for Prior Dorian.
Yeah. I know it's a little
PD.
Confusing. Thelian was the one before, now Dorian.
Okay. Yeah, PD.
Because I'm taking it. Flavius has never been with LS, so I have no idea if he just naturally knows how to smell.
Yeah. True.
And I want to make sure that as you are describing LS's smell, I'm not taking it as anything weird. Does that make sense? Because I don't have any reason not to trust it.
100%.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so I don't want to be like, I don't imagine Ellis is like sniffing out like freaking truffle hunting. So
yeah,
respect. Unless it's one of those things that like you want us to notice. Does that like I don't want to meta play in that sense of just like I've never met an elf before. I've never spent a lot of time, so maybe they can smell good.
Ellis traces some intricate symbols in the air and says a few magical words under his breath, and you notice that his eyes turn white and almost like there's smoke, white smoke rising from the corners of his eyes and dissipating above his head. And he starts to look around the space, okay, with your detect magic. Now,
I see everything. That's the second voice when I'm spelled. Hello.
I see everything.
So you're concentrating.
As you detect magic around the space, you're not picking up anything.
That's fine.
As you look, there's nothing that is magical here. Okay. But I want Mac, the dwarf, to roll a survival check here.
All right.
I don't see anything magical about this place. I mean, it's nice, I guess.
You can hear as you're doing and looking around this space, which The glade is quiet. Okay, the bee glade. And you're quite removed from the monastery now. It does seem like the scene of a crime, even though you're in the middle of a sunny afternoon, it feels like you're at the scene of a crime. You can hear him saying, "We gathered what pieces of Priorthelion we could find and gave him a proper burial. But among the carnage were these." And you see that he goes over to a cloth that's rolled on the ground, and he kind of you could tell he's not excited to touch it, but he grabs the edge and unfolds it, and you see black spikes. 6
Like the quills?
Yeah, like the quills. You can see that there's about 8 of these 16 to 25-inch spikes that have black fading to yellow at the tip. He says some of them were embedded in his flesh, and others in the ground and trees surrounding the area. We think that they're connected somehow.
I agree.
What did you roll on your
15.
survival? 15. Something you notice, Mac, is it looks like the prints, there's maybe a few partial paw prints in the area of a large cat. And I'm talking large, like a big tiger or lion or something, like a big paw print, just offhand, that's something you notice.
I pointed out.
Indeed, I hadn't noticed. Do you think it's connected somehow?
Yeah.
I've not known. I've been here most of my life, and I've not known any large cats to wander, predatory cats to wander in the wood.
Does the monastery eat much meat? Would there be reason for a predator, bear, cat?
We eat that which
come in?
grows from the ground.
So
When meat is given, sometimes as a gift or a tithe, we shall then enjoy it. But we are too poor to keep livestock. But we do grow those things which come from the earth. Some of the brothers, well, most are afraid to now go into the forest. We used to gather mushrooms or things that could be found growing in the wild. Most stay indoors these days, I fear. In fact, a few nights ago, we heard some ruckus in the woods. Something horrible, a rending, a cracking of branches, perhaps. Something large was out there. It
what direction?
seemed.
As it was walking or a scuffle like cats fighting?
Nearest I can remember, it's not too far from here. You see, he points yonder.
Does it
I
feel like it's the
assumed
direction
it could
we
have
came
been
from?
an old tree that finally gave up and fell to the ground. Perhaps something of that nature.
In the way that he points, do we feel that it was in the direction that we found Fulmer's arm?
No. I mean, it's hard to say because of how windy the road is, and that was hours ago.
Oh, yeah,
so I
makes
mean,
sense.
it's a different kind of thing. And he said this was a few nights ago, not last night. Just to be clear.
Has anything changed before this unfortunate accident? Had anything changed? Was there anything pending with the village or the keep, or any kind of change in your vegetable growth, or anything out of the ordinary? Any kind of spat with anybody else?
No, not that I can recall, but I've not considered the question before. Perhaps I can visit my journals and the journals of some of the other silent brothers here to see if anything noteworthy had happened.
Yeah, maybe only with consent. It's weird to read someone else's journal. Unless you all are okay with that here. I don't know.
Of course, friend. Of course, none shall be coerced to reveal anything private.
Now, prior Dorian... Sorry, Brandon. We're going to keep going.
I was just going to... It was a non sequitur, so go ahead.
Prior Dorian, the letter we received in the Sanctum mentioned the goods of Prior Thelion would be delivered to us. Can we see what he had?
Yes, absolutely. I hope that you'll consider staying with us the night.
In this death trap?
If you desire to stay, accommodations shall be made, and you shall be able to stay comfortably.
What time of day is it?
It's the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chad, I'm going to clean up
But like consider you traveled since the morning. So like if you were to leave now and go back to the keep, it would be like after midnight probably to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the other direction from where Briarberry was. So like just contextually, like you could stay here or you could camp in the woods or you could try to push, set the pace to grueling and head back to the
Do we want to just go out? Sorry.
I wouldn't mind praying. It's been a while since I prayed in a church. So worship the holy day.
I think we should let as we look to unravel this mystery, let's tidy up this scene. Do we feel there's anything else we can glean from this? I'm going to go look at the beehives to see if there's anything there.
You go back over and you can see that Prior Dorian has walked over that way. And he's like, one other thing we can take. He goes, hope, and points at one of the hives. And you can see that the bees are trying to make the most of it.
Yeah.
Like there's some bees rebuilding.
I have hammer and nails.
Okay.
I'm going to go try to like fix it up.
Hell yeah.
So I'm going to try to just do that.
You see that as you do it, like it seems to really cheer Prior Dorian. He wants to help. Like he'll hold the boards for you and things.
I'm just going to use I have 100 nails and a hammer.
Great.
And I'm just, I have glass. I have pouches.
I love it. No, I love it.
I have a regal set.
I have chalk. I have a rope
ladder.
ladder.
I have a royal set. I have a religious set.
I have a hooded lantern. I have slippers.
I do have a wooded lantern, and I have 6 things of oil.
I'm wearing a toe ring on every toe.
I'm casting spells with my toe wands.
That's right.
I'm going to spend the time trying to fix up as much
I'm hiding
as I
a razor in my ass just in case I need it.
Make sure it's covered in tape, dog.
That's right.
I'm just going to try to fix it up the best I can.
Okay. You're able to, roll like a dexterity.
Okay.
Well, and then what are you guys doing?
Well, he's doing natural 19, so
nice.
20. What is my plus? Plus 2, so 21.
Your wood shop professor back in Sanctum would have been proud. You feel like you did a good job putting together what you took some of the best remaining parts of several
He was a colonel.
hives.
His name was Hornsmith.
That's right.
Learned a lot from him.
And you were able to put something back together.
Great.
And Prior Dorian is cheered.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that the bees start to go inside of it and stuff. And he's like, we shall taste honey again. What a blessing.
Indeed.
What kind of halfling would do this? This is pretty crazy.
Hey, it's probably not a halfling.
Oh,
it's a big cat, I think now.
Oh,
I think I missed. As you guys start to walk back, he goes, I must admit, I have had conflicting feelings. I feel sad to have lost my friend and mentor, Prior Thelian. And I also am grateful for this mystery, for it is tantalizing. It's an opportunity to learn something new, to gain knowledge. I think that the knower above has sent this to us.
You're oversharing.
Well, just imagine how good the answer will feel.
Indeed. We
Same
shall know soon what happened.
All right, I'm going to go grab LS's hands and I'm going to pray with him.
Okay. Well, you guys get back to the chapel.
We're going to go to pray in the chapel.
He's leading you
like
back to the
adults.
chapel.
I was going to pray in here.
And when you go inside, you can see that there are a few of the monks here, or the Silent Brothers, sitting in pews quietly. You also see a couple that look like they are sweeping and just keeping it neat. And it's a nice building. It's not massive. Like you guys were in opulent, amazing cathedrals in Sanctum. This is not that. It's a very modest, quaint. Yeah, it's very modest, but it also is like a bastion of civilization in the middle of this woods. It's like just a really nice put together. And in here, all of a sudden, being inside of a stone structure, you can hear the echoes and things of your feet. And it brings you back to this acoustic area, where you feel like this would be a beautiful place for song, but this is a silent place,
Slap of my bare feet on the stone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to know the best part about this place? No acorns.
Beautiful.
So you walk in and Mr. Tibbets goes and starts to pray, and Prior Thelian, his voice sounds even echoey and angelic in here, He's like, Prior Thelian's belongings are this way. We've kept them here in the chapel in preparation for your arrival. Everything is accounted for. Please do what you will with it. He takes you over to this chest that's there, sort of near like an altar that's there up at the front of this building. Okay, you can see on top of the altar there's a cloth that's red and hangs down with golden tassels, and in the middle of this red cloth there's actually some pretty nice stitch work that show the shield and the crown and the serpent.
Why don't we rummage this box and then call it a night?
Say, are porcupines carnivorous? Giant porcupines?
Actually, I don't actually. I think I've seen a porcupine much bigger than that.
So do you think it was a lot of porcupines together?
I don't know. The quill's quite big.
Okay,
It's a cat.
go
a cat
ahead
with
and
quills.
roll a search check as you get into his gear here.
I got a 24.
Oh wow, 16.
Ooh,
10.
16, 10, 24.
Yes.
Nice.
I could only get a 24 if I rolled a 22.
Okay, roll. Let's see. Roll 1d4.
You got it, babe.
You do it, Zach.
He pointed at him, so he should.
Oh, he did? I didn't see the hand. Sorry.
2.
Then you roll 1d4. Jeez. 3. Now you roll 1d4.
2.
Okay. And then roll another 1d4.
I slammed my die in the box and it popped out.
Throwing down.
4.
4. Okay, now roll D100s. We're going to get everybody start doing them because we got some items to go through here.
58.
Okay, so 58. You can make notes of these things.
25. Or do you want them one at a time?
One at a time. So you see there's some moldy bread.
Oh, awesome. Keep that in there.
It's like wrapped in some parchment paper. Looks like he made an onion bagel and then forgot about it.
It's still warm.
bringing anything I would
We
eat
love you for
ever again.
it. We love you for it.
Ever
It's the
again.
best. It was retained its warmth this whole time.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Parchment paper.
Yeah. Okay, and then you got a 25. Is that right?
It's a Yes, I did. Parchment paper is a much better way than a plastic bag.
Oh, 100%.
you do
Solid.
You
aluminum
see
foil
that there is a
parchment.
golden glass monocle. So a golden glass monocle in there. Okay,
Alright,
roll
then.
another percentage.
55.
Okay. There's a money belt. Roll 1d100.
Sweet. 5.
Are you going to take
It has 5 silver in it.
Are you going to take Barthelion's money?
All of the belongings were left to you. What'd you get?
74.
74. There's a pair of wooden sandals.
I am on a roll.
You guys are crushing. Roll again.
To be fair, the wooden sandals are a huge upgrade from bare ass feet.
I'm going to leave those in the box.
They're like those sandals that you see in anime that like stick down. Yeah, would
Don't
you
need them.
35.
35.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 35.
Okay. You see that there is a clay pot with dried wildflowers in it.
Oh.
Almost like a potpourri pot. Okay, roll another percentage.
52.
Okay.
We are not rolling well right now.
You find a wooden hair comb with a silver inlay.
Wonderful.
Roll again.
18.
18. You find a spool of wire, 20 feet worth of wire.
You should take that.
Is it copper wire? Some crackhead is losing his mind right now.
Roll another percentage.
13.
Okay. You find 2 jade dice. They're 6-sided.
Great.
2 6-sided dice that are jade.
Father's into gambling.
94.
Okay. They're going crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk for a sec.
You find a stone of beautiful colors and polish, and it is clearly magical in nature. Okay. Yeah, they just got in trouble. I love it. The moms are mad at them out there. Okay, roll again.
41.
Okay. You find a pouch of herb. Roll your survival check to identify it.
18.
All right, it's an herb called elecampane, and it induces vomiting.
Oh, this would have been helpful.
One more percentage.
5%.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
You pull out of the... it's actually quite shocking because it was under like clothes and things. You pull an ever-burning torch out. It has
Hell yeah.
white flame.
Huh.
And it's cool to the touch. It doesn't burn anything, but it's just light. Now roll a d20.
Who? Zach? It's Zach's
Whoever
turn.
wants to.
Yeah.
This is for the best item in the lot.
Wish me luck. 14.
Okay. Okay. Just a second.
We don't have a way to identify yet. Other than a high spellcraft.
You see,
We're just
oddly
looking.
enough, a sheath,
Huh.
like a sheath for a weapon. It's a light leather sheath that is intricately inlaid with, it looks like maybe white gold or platinum in sort of like a vine pattern.
What type of weapon might fit in it? A blade.
That's the thing that's strange is like when Orsini, Flavius picks it up, you see that it seems to like change shape in his hand to match the weapon that he's carrying.
So it's like a Warhammer cover?
Yeah. All of a sudden it looks like it would be like a loop for a warhammer, but
Oh,
it seemed to like change when he touched it.
Wow.
You know, that sort of thing. Okay.
Very cool.
Attach it.
All right. And then amid the rest of the heap is like clothing, you know what I mean? That kind of
Yeah.
stuff, like a bunch of different robes and aprons.
Some
But
just
these, I just stuck to the items that were most
Cool.
unique.
That's awesome.
Ship
Okay.
blasted
Sounds good.
robes.
That's You could see that he had racing stripe.
He
in
ate a
all
lot of
his-
vegetables.
That's
It
right.
is 11:17.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Is this a good spot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. Okay. I'm so the last thing then prior Dorian comes he's kind of waited for you as you've gone through the things or whatnot. He's like, shall we make rooms ready for you to stay the night?
Yeah.
Or do you wish to continue on your journey?
Let's stay here.
We'll stay here.
I will say that it will make all of us sleep easier to know that you're here. We feel blessed by your protection.
And you can let your monks know they can talk to us.
I'm sure that. Oh, maybe I shouldn't ask that. But if you'll forgive the indulgence, I know that many of them might have questions, and I could serve as voice. If they could come in and talk to you, perhaps they could sign to me, and then I could ask you questions.
Absolutely.
You might be weary from travel, though, so I needn't overstep.
No, they can speak as long as I will talk as long as they want to speak to me. Us.
Be careful; they may keep you up all night.
Yeah. I'm down for it. Like
Okay.
just to do it.
Since you guys have returned to the center of the monastery, you notice that the chapel is starting to fill. Like they're coming in and staying at the back, but listening to you, and they seem just happy to be around you.
Cool.
I can't wait to have one of your famous songs tonight.
Oh, do you have a singing voice, Master Dwarf?
Of an angel.
A
You're looking at
dwarven
me.
angel.
Wow.
All right.
We shall be pleased to hear anything you might want to sing.
All right.
Go ahead. Good.
Mm.
Ra ra. Ooh la la. Mama. Ooh la la.
Wait. Gaga? Oh, Gaga.
Oh, Saint Gaga.
The Lady
Oh,
Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
I have not heard her since I was in Sanctum.